your game coming out of college, I saw your summer league. Mm-hmm. And dog, I was like, I didn't even know Draymond can move like this. Like, you was hitting hezzies, like step back threes, like getting to the cup. Like, I'm like, dog, he really got an ISO game. Like,
I got a little bit.
And then, but nah, it was crazy, bro. You got to look up, watch his summer league clip. He going crazy.
Draymond was doing ISOs.
Draymond doing ISO. He doing shit that I didn't even know Draymond could move like this.
In my life.
I didn't know he could move like this.
I gotta see you do ISO. I gotta see this.
It's an interesting thing you brought up though, because a lot of guys are talented, but when you're put in that position where you come into the league and you gotta find your niche in order to get on the floor, homie, listen to this as we talking about it, because I went through the same situation when I got to Indiana. They plugged me in a corner and I had no involvement on plays, nothing. I wasn't touching the ball unless it was getting swung to me. Mm-hmm. And I had the open shot because I didn't shoot it well my rookie year. But I took the same approach. The only way I'm going to get on this floor is if I play defense. Mm-hmm. For you guys, you being and you having Steph there, you having Clay there, like when did it click that like, oh, we got something special if I lock into this? I'm going to be our toughness. I'm going to be our facilitator. I'm going to make the game easy. Because like I said, you had the game to be elite scorer and getting your own shot off. I seen it. Mm-hmm. But you had to make that adjustment. When did you like, you know what, these dudes are elite shooters. I'm going to do this, this, and that.
You know, one thing, it was very interesting for me in Summer League because when I was doing all of that stuff and I had all that, I was coming off the bench. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, this is interesting because what I'm going out here and I'm providing and I'm doing and I'm playing at a very high level, coming off the bench. So that's where it started. Mm-hmm. Then as we get into the season, Mark Jackson told me the day before our first game, he was like, hey man, I just want you to know this stuff has a weird way of playing itself out. And like, you always get an opportunity. Everyone always get an opportunity. Just make sure you're ready for that opportunity. I'm not sure when that opportunity is going to be. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but just make sure no matter what the opportunity is, you're ready for it. And so I would immediately start getting thrown in for defensive possessions. And I'm like, all right. And I remember when they first drafted me, when I first talked to Mark Jackson, he told me, he was like, listen, I want the guy coming here that I've seen at Michigan State. You lead, you toughness. Like, we need toughness on this team. I want you to come here and be exactly who you are. Don't take a back seat to nobody. Don't do none of that. Use your voice. Be tough. Be exactly who I've watched all of these years. Mm-hmm. So, like, number one, he gave me confidence. And that was huge. And it'll be funny how confidence is a very funny thing. It gave me confidence to be that. And I'm like, all right, so cool. So then I'm like, I'm just watching Steph and Clay and them play, and like Steph's coming down the court, and I set a drag screen for him, and like what he did off the drag screen, I'm like, that was interesting. Go set another drag. Yeah. And it got to the point to where I'd be running down the court and like I'll just veer off like I don't know, just veer off crazy. I look crazy out there just running, veering, trying to go set a screen for Steph. But what I found was his ability to play out of a screen and roll opened up. But what it opened up was me in the pocket. Mm-hmm. And what I found was my playmaking through that. Mm-hmm. And I quickly realized that David Lee was incredible. David Lee was scoring machine, can score the ball left hand, right hand, all-star, mid-range, off the dribble, you name it. D. Lee was getting to it. And I didn't quite feel like I was as good of a scorer as him. And so I'm like, all right, once David Lee gets hurt, well, I can't come in here trying to score because I can't score as well as David Lee at this point. Right. So if I go in there trying to score, then I'm just a lesser version of what they already have.
Right.
Smart. So my mindset wasn't to go in there and score. My mindset was go in there and do everything that David doesn't do.
Got you.
Right? So I'm going to go in there and lock up. D. Lee ain't playing no goddamn defense. I love D. Lee. That's one of my OGs. I love D. Lee. D. Lee ain't playing no defense. I am going to run and screen like nobody's tomorrow. D. Lee gonna set a screen, but D. Lee gonna set that screen to get him open. D. Lee ain't setting that screen to get you open.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna go screen And I'm going to get these guys involved differently than D. Lee does, because D. Lee is going to score the ball and he's a hell of a passer. But he's averages like 3-4 assists a game because that's not really what he's focused on doing. He is focused on putting that, as he should be, he's focused on putting that ball in there. And so I'm going to go get these guys involved like nobody else is getting them involved. And so that was my mindset, but it was just totally off of trying to do something different than he does. So if I can go do this, they won't compare me to him. They won't hold me to the standard that he's held to as far as scoring the ball every night.
Right.
And I can just bring my own thing. We start having success. And once we start having success, this is now really into my third year. Steve takes over. And that's when it really opened that up. And once we start having success, I'm like, all right, I need to do more and more and more of this. And then I start having my own personal success.
Right.
And it all just blossomed. Now I'll take you to another space though. As that continued to blossom, then we have our success, then KD comes. My individual game as far as scoring and shooting suffered. Because then that became so much of what they wanted me to do. The shooting wasn't a priority at all. It's like, and so then I started being called and viewed as a non-shooter when in fact I shot 37% from three. Like, I remember, shot shit out the ball.
Right.
And no one was just helping off of me.
Right.
But then I started being like spoke to and viewed as a non-shooter just because I was doing so much to get those guys involved.
Right.
And in turn, I lost my confidence. And so I lost my confidence in my shot. So how many listen to this too? Don't ever lose your confidence. But I lost my confidence in my shot. And, you know, I'm trying to get K involved. I'm trying to get Steph involved. I'm trying to get Clay involved. In my mind, I'm thinking like, man, Stephen came down and hoisted 3 crazy shots. And because he did, Clay just came down and hoisted one from half court. And next time he came down and hoisted one from the other side of half court. And by the way, it's been now 8 possessions that Kevin hasn't touched the ball. So I catch the ball and I may be in a position to shoot it, but I'm like, K ain't touched the ball. I need to get him a look. And just making, that's the point guard in me, just making sure everybody touched the ball. But it really took an impact. It really had an impact on my offensive game and especially my confidence and my mindset. Because then once it was like, oh, well, those guys are shooting the ball. So our non-shooter, and it's like I'm being mentioned as the non-shooter, start to believe it. You know, as great as it was and it has been, and I wouldn't change it for a thing in the world, it had a negative impact as well because it, like I said, I lost all confidence. Like, and also, you go in the gym and shoot with me right now, P. I probably can shoot with you.
Thing.
I don't know knocking that really shit down. With you, but I'm gonna shoot the piss out the ball. But getting back over that hurdle. From the confidence perspective, I feel like I just started getting it back like maybe last year. But it's still a process.
But what people don't understand either is basketball and shooting is such a feel rhythm thing.
Absolutely.
If you get 5 shots in a game, like you ain't gonna know if it's your night or not. Like, you know what I mean? Like you don't know if you shooting well tonight or not. Like you could miss 3 threes and be like, damn, like I'm struggling tonight. Nah, bro, you just shot 3 threes. Like,
you always tell me it's
next
hard
3
to
you could be money.
Points.
But it is tough when like you do have pressure of having 2 of the best with KD there, 3 of the best 3-point shooters around you. So like it comes a time where it's like, Draymond, swing that. Like you. So that's pressure. It is pressure.
100%.
And people do not understand that. So
it's crazy.
I'm glad you spoke your truth on that because you was a knockdown shooter. And I know, like on 2K, I'm hitting the 3 with Draymond. Like you as a shooter on.
I love how we bring 2K in this all the time.
You got to, because 2K a tell, 2K a show. He was a B+. His 3-point.
I love it. No, for sure, but it was all confidence though. And like now, I'm working to get that confidence back still. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, last year was a big jump for me. It was a big hurdle. Like. Missed the first, because for a while, like I missed that first one, like, oh no. I'm gonna just go do the rest of this shit. I ain't shooting no more. And so now I'm starting to get over that hurdle of like, all right, I missed the first one, take another one. I missed the second one, take another one. But I'm still not there. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like like that's what excites me right now about like my career going forward. I feel like I'm starting to tap back into that. And I feel like once I tap all the way back into that, I feel like who gonna stop me? Because if you start overreacting to the shot, I'm going by you and I'm gonna make all the plays. But I still got to get it back to that point in the confidence of where I'm like just letting it ride. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I feel like I'm getting back there, but it's a process, man. Once you lose confidence in like a shot, it's hard. I mean, or you've seen people like lose confidence in their game and you like, yo, like what happened to him?
Right.
Like Ben Simmons.
Right.
Like Ben Simmons is
Summertime,
a
he's shooting the
perfect
shit out of it.
example.
I don't know exactly
of like,
what
Ben
happened.
Simmons is still the same Ben Simmons we watched dominate in Philly. You know the only difference between Ben Simmons in Philly and Ben Simmons now? It's confidence.
Confidence.
Once you lose your confidence, like, and I feel bad for people who lose confidence in their game. Like I never lost confidence in my game, so I've still been able to have a really good career and be successful and, you know, do the things that I've done. But I feel bad, but I know how it feels to lose confidence because I lost confidence in my shot.
Right.
I feel bad for people that lose their confidence in that game because you're still the same player. Like you're the same person that was going out there and would get 15 assists before someone blinked. And yet you don't feel that you can do that no more because your confidence is gone. And that's what happened with me in my shot.
Watching you, I didn't even think you lost your confidence. I just thought you was playing a different game. Like you didn't want to shoot no more. But I guess it shows in the,
But I'll tell you something on that though. You know what I always say to people? I don't really say it to many people, but I'll say it to people who's close to me. The reason you couldn't tell that I lost confidence in my shot is because I was doing everything else so well. And so it's like, if he's shooting, he make it cool, but if he don't, look at all the things that he's doing. Right? But I always tell my boys, I would love to see if people, and like a lot of guys had to adjust to what I had to adjust to, could they still become what I've become? Because I had to change everything. Like, could you imagine I was a scorer my whole life. Like, didn't do anything else. I would pass the ball because I could always have feel. But I was a scorer my entire life. Could you imagine? Now you just lost total confidence in that?
That's crazy.
You still got to become an all-star. You still got to win championships. You still got to do all these things. A part of me, I always feel good. Like, I can always look back on that to feel good about myself and just know, like, regardless of what happened in this, like, I made a way.
Right.
But, like, don't get it twisted for 1 second. Like, that shit bothered me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bothered me a lot. And then, you know, like, I've gotten to a point now to where it don't bother me. But I'm a competitor, man.
Yeah.
Like, that shit bothered me. Like to watch somebody not guard me, like, I really want to shoot your face off. Like,
So I remember
that's when I noticed something was going on.
Hurdle, right?
That's when I noticed something was going on. When you had those moments and you left wide open and you still go to like a DHO or you'll tell Looney, go set the screen away. Like, you're looking for that next option. I'm like, all right, something's bothering them. But I do want to touch on, like, is it like a bittersweet moment because of you not shooting it or you lost confidence in your shot, that it elevated the rest of your game? It elevated your playmaking, your defense, the toughness. I feel like it almost elevated everything else because from your standpoint, it's like, all right, I'm not shooting it well. I have to do X, Y, and Z better. I have to do this now. Like, is it a bittersweet?
It is. It's also a cover-up. It's a cover-up because it's bittersweet because, like I said, to know that like I can go do all of those things and still be an all-star, right? Like, I've made all-star last year. I averaged 7 points. Like, so it's definitely bittersweet and a great feeling just to know that people appreciate what I am doing. It's a cover-up in the sense of, under no circumstance would I let people know that was bothering me. So in turn, I would just dive further into these things so that the world would just feel like, oh, like, that's just what he's doing. Like, that's who he is. And that's, like, So whatever, fuck his shot. Like, that don't matter. Like, but I'm a basketball player, man. Do you actually think it feel good to say, fuck my shot?
Yeah.
You know, like.
No, that hurts.
Like, it hurts.
That hurts.
You know, right? So that's been a goal of mine, like making sure that I get that back, because when I go home,
Just
like that shit burned me up. Like, yo, I was just wide open and they just looked at me and I did not shoot the ball. But I also didn't have the confidence to shoot that ball. So I'm not just gonna shoot it because I'm open.
Right.
Because I ain't dumb.
Right.
I'm not confident in the shot. So no, I'm not shooting it. Like, I am open. I probably should shoot it, but I'm not confident in it. So should I shoot it if I'm not confident in the shot? I don't think so. I don't want to be one of these guys who's just, or didn't want to be one of these guys who's like not confident in their shot, but because they're open and someone's telling them, hey man, you open, you got to know, fuck that. Like, if I ain't confident I'm about to knock this shot down, I'm not taking the shot.
You don't want to hear that.
You know?
Bro, you open, next shot, you don't want to hear
fuck that. Like, no, I'm not confident in this shot, and I need to figure out how to find confidence again in this shot.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've worked on, and that's what I've been trying to do. And like I said, I'm taking steps in the right direction. But yeah, it was a cover-up. It's like, I'm going to be so good at these things. And now, granted, ultimately it probably ended up helping my career and my legacy more than if I was a great scorer, because I wouldn't be the greatest scorer. You know, and so ultimately it's probably helped me more in that sense. But don't for 1 second not believe that a large part of it was a cover-up on just like, if I struggle that badly on offense, people gonna eat that up if I don't do these things. And I'm way too prideful to just allow people to eat this thing up. So I'm a focus. I'm a focus on these things and
your principles.
You know, and try to be as great as I can be. And so to your question, I think it did elevate everything else.
Yeah.
Look, the NBA season is done, but that doesn't mean Prize Picks is. Guess what sport I'm making money on now? Baseball, baby. Look, I'm up big thanks to Mookie Betts and Mike Trout, who are helping me cash in this season. But I got to let people know what Prize Picks is. I got to do that. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy app. You pick 2 to 6 players like the video on your screen, then pick if they will have more or less than their Prize Picks projections. You aren't competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. Look, I know how much I won, but let me tell the people how much they can win. Look, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. And on top of that, all first-time users that deposit and use our promo code PodcastP will receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. That means if you deposit $20, Prize Picks will give you $20. If you deposit $100, Prize Picks will give you $100. And like I always say, Dallas, what we say? Dallas. He ain't here. Cha-ching!